Hey guys, yeah, so we knew this was coming. Ever since they put out that news tabloid thing and the saying that this guy's Legends Limited banner would be coming back, Legends Return with an increased rate, and then we only had the 1 week long of Ultra Space Time Rush. This was kind of written on the wall at that point. It's very obvious to predict. Again, I made a video talking about this over on the 59 channel with Bebop and Noir, and then I did sort of my own little, talk about it during my summons with Champa and Vados. Sort of talked about that while I was summoning in the background. But here we go. A lot of people were in denial that this was even coming, like heavy denial. The famous one is this one. This guy's making a pretty substantial commitment here, so hold him to. I'm gonna hold him to this. We're going to make sure that he goes through with this, so it'll be exciting to see. But here we go. Legends Limited Goku's Zenkai Awakening is coming. Get all his uniques to restore ki and boost damage inflicted when entering the battlefield. When he evades enemies' attack with a Vanishing Step, he restores ki and randomly draws 1 new card when you have 3 or less. So that's all we really know here. Again, I don't really want to see him get that many offensively oriented unique abilities, or maybe make his buffs that are not so offensively oriented, but it looks like, based off of what we're seeing here, restoring ki and boosting damage when you enter the battlefield, that does look very offensively oriented, but what I'm hoping for is more so something along the lines of giving him just more defensive capabilities, as well as buffing his last man standing capabilities as well. I think that is what this unit is lacking a lot, and his blue card is still going to be as good as it always has been, right? So a lot of his offense is not even coming from just like, traditional ways of inflicting damage with blast cards and strike cards and stuff like that, but it's through the use of the special move card. And with this battle system that we have currently in the game, tackles are very powerful, which is going to make this guy a very high skill based character actually to use. It might seem weird to call him a high skill based character because it's just, his blue card literally counters everything that isn't a tackle, rising rush, or a tap blast. But I feel like if you understand the mechanics of the game and you're good with like single taps, you're good with how the tackles interact with stop time events like green cards and main abilities, this guy can be super powerful, and you can get your opponent, you can catch them off guard with the blue card a lot of the time, even versus very highly skilled players as well. So I am not very enthusiastic about this, but it's content, so I gotta do videos on this. I do have a second half of this video coming up, which I recorded ahead of time because I knew this. We all knew this was coming, right? It was just very obvious. So we're gonna play that right now. I'm pretty disappointed that they're actually doing this so early. Again, this is 2 months after Legends Limited Gohan got his Zenkai Awakening. Only 2 months ago we got that, and these two together are probably going to be dominating the meta for a very long time to come. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand what their process is behind choosing who the next Zenkai is going to be, what their process is behind balancing the meta, which obviously at this point there is no balance in the meta. They just don't care anymore. It's just like, whatever, we'll just throw them all out at once. So yeah, I will jump into part 2 of this video right here. But I just want to let you guys know that this is now confirmed officially via the official account over on Twitter. So we should be seeing this coming up soon. And we'll be back in a minute as we talk about some of the things that I want to say about this release. Okay, so here we are. We kind of knew this was going to happen, right? It's not a surprise that we're getting this guy as a Zenkai. I made a video about this about a week ago. On the 59 channel, I made a video talking about this with Bebop and Noir, and we sort of talked about why we think they're doing this. And what it could possibly mean in terms of balance for the game. But I do want to take like 2 minutes just to quickly address, if anybody from the development team is watching this video, this is directly for you. Like, why? Just, I want to know why. I want to know why this decision was made. This team, Sun Family, does not need help. I would argue that the Saiyan team probably does not need help either at this point. The balance issue in this game has gotten to a point where it's just so unhealthy for the meta that it's almost unplayable for me, and a lot of other players that I know are just getting turned off from the game because of the fact that you can't queue up into a match without seeing one of these ridiculous characters. So if you want to just have fun, right? And I get the vision of the game is to not be just super competitive fighting game like Fighters or something like that, where if you're not using the top options, you're not going to have a great time because you're just going to be getting crushed every single time. So I think at this point it's pretty well established that the vision that Dragon Ball Legends has established for themselves as a mobile game is more on the casual side, where you can fight against your friends, you can use characters that you like, not necessarily the ones that are powerful and have fun doing that in PvP. But I feel like the environment that this game was created for itself, with the PvP system that they have right now, it's shaped into a competitive environment, whether or not that was their original intention or not. So you have, right, the big example that I'm going to give in this video is, you know, this guy paired alongside the LF Red Gohan. I don't understand how they create the LF Gohan, right? I mean, obviously he's just ridiculously busted. Probably, again, I've said this in past videos, but he's, in my opinion, the biggest mistake they've ever made was making that Zenkai LF Gohan as good as they did. He's just, it's oppressive how good he is. And it's not fun to play against him when you're using any other team that doesn't have him on the team, because right now I would honestly say the only real counter to him is another one. The only counter to Zenkai 7 LF Gohan is another Zenkai 7 LF Gohan, because he's just in a league of his own, in my opinion. So when you're introducing this character to the game, you know, this Zenkai Goku, and we don't know how good he's going to be yet, so this is just all speculation, but I would argue this guy, just based off of the stat boosts that he's going to get from a Zenkai Awakening, I would say that alone is enough to push this guy to the level of him being paired alongside LF Gohan is going to make that team just like almost unbeatable if you don't use the same team. Because we're going to run into a situation here where it might be this guy is the only counter to himself. Like, we don't know how good they're going to make his blue card. We don't know how good they're going to make any of this guy's other uniques. Because remember, he's getting 2 new unique abilities. He already has these 2. These are going to get buffed, and he's going to get 2 new ones. Like, I mentioned in my other video that the only thing I wish they would do with this character and this guy's Zenkai is I hope they focus not so much on the offensive side of this guy's kit, but on the defensive side and maybe the last man standing portion specifically. So, you know, if the last man standing portion of this guy's kit got buffed, that wouldn't really make it as unfun or oppressive to fight against, you know, without him being the last man standing. So that part of his kit will get buffed. So let's say you're just, you know, fighting against this guy when it's a 2v2 or something. He's not going to be overwhelmingly powerful in that situation. But again, this all goes back to the fact that this guy's most likely going to be paired up alongside the red LF Gohan. And that team's just going to be... I don't see how it's going to be beatable with any other team unless they continue to ramp up the power creep in this game. And this goes back to the video I made about power creep, which is you can't just keep one-upping your most powerful characters in the game. You can't. The game is not going to survive. Like, honestly, if they continue down this path, the game won't survive past the 3rd year anniversary. I'm telling you right now, if they keep doing this and they keep going down the same path, people will just stop playing, right? I've seen many people stop playing. It's not just English-speaking people. It's a lot of Japanese people that I follow over on Twitter. A lot of the people in the Japanese community have been getting burnt out, not because the game is boring, but because when I say the game's boring, I mean not because the gameplay is boring, but because the devs have artificially made the game boring due to the way that they've handled the power creep, they've handled the actual meta of the game. It's very poorly managed. So, again, my final thoughts on this as we wrap up here. It said 2 minutes, but this has gone on for more than 2 minutes. I don't understand the thought process behind the fact that this guy's going to get a Zenkai at this point, right? He was obviously going to get one at some point. Which is fine. Honestly, you could argue that he's really not that good anymore, and being a Legends Limited character, he needs to have, you know, that premium kit in order to make him, you know, one step above the rest of the competition, which is fine. I don't have any direct opposition to that sentiment, but you have to consider the rest of the meta at the time when you're giving this guy a Zenkai. This is not the time for this. The Gohan just got a Zenkai 2 months ago. Why all of a sudden you're giving this guy Zenkai? Why don't we just give some other... Why don't you give LF Piccolo Zenkai? Right? LF Piccolo is a character that I would argue needs one way more than this Goku does. That's just simple as that. Regen is pretty good right now still, obviously. But Sun Family is like, why would you even run any other team? If you have this guy and the Gohan, why would you ever use another team? And yeah, the reason is because, oh, you want to have fun with other teams. But again... Are you going to have fun when you're losing to this you know, 1-2 punch every single match? I don't know. We're going to just see everybody using this team now. I'm telling you right now. So that's it. That's all I got. You guys can let me know down below what you think. I've pretty much been completely honest with what I think about this. I don't think it's good. I think it's actually very bad for the game. And the game balance and power creep situation is continuing to get worse and worse over time. So again, they need to get their acts together, and they need to figure out what they're going to do to solve this issue, or we're just going to continue to spiral into like this black hole of non-existence, and we're not going to be able to crawl ourselves out of it at this point. So, all right, that's all I have. Again, let me know down below if you guys agree with this Zenkai, disagree with the Zenkai, you're excited, not excited. And I hope you guys enjoyed. See you all in the next one.